Cabin Fever.
Hi, I'm Simone Arabia, and this is Beats,
Sneaks, and Rhymes.
And this is the show where we take all aspects surrounding hip-hop culture, past, present, and future, and we have a discussion about it.
Even breakdancing.
Even breakdancing. That's part of hip-hop culture. So in our first segment, the Beats segment, and in this segment, we pick an album, and we discuss it. And this week, we have chosen...
The Black Eyed Peas. The Masters of the Sun, Volume 1.
Volume 1. Now, this album has 12 tracks. It's about 58 minutes.
Yep.
And so we're going to get right into it.
It's a dope-ass album.
It is very dope. It was dropped in October of 2018. But just because it was dropped in 2018 doesn't mean...
that we can't listen to it. You know, it's never too late to listen to good music.
Good music is timeless music.
Yes. This is a very dope album.
Very.
If you're a Black Eyed Peas fan, then you already know what to expect.
Yes.
If you haven't been on board with the Black Eyed Peas, and I think you should. I think you should check this out.
You really should.
At the same time, again, second review this week. It is a mature album, I would say.
Yes.
It's very political and very mature.
Listen, I was surprised at how political this album was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially coming, if you only know Black Eyed Peas for their pop fame,
yeah.
You know what I mean? When they were doing their thing with Fergie and they were just ridiculously global, galactical.
Yeah, well, I think the time after Fergie and once they got their fame, they didn't hesitate to be involved in community and involved even like in the music or whatever. Like a big part of Obama coming in.
Yes.
You know, was will.i.am
orchestrating
everybody get together and you know what I'm saying, and make the song for Obama. I forgot what it was called.
I know, I can't remember.
Yeah, but I remember it had Common in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was
definitely.
It was like I can, it was like Obama's slogan, and they like made a song.
This album, so they've been political always. Yeah. But for some people, like their introduction to them was with Fergie, pop. And then kind of once they wasn't doing the pop stuff, maybe some of you weren't really following them, but we've been Black Eyed Peas fans since the first album. So
yeah, we be falling up, never falling down.
Never. So,
what's one of your favorites?
I can't even. It's they're really. I mean, this is a no skip album.
You want to talk about the features though?
You got Nas.
You got Slick Rick.
You got Slick Rick.
First of all, let's go back. Like Nas is on the first.
He's on the first song. Right. First song. They don't even have an intro. Yeah. They just have the first song, and it's with Nas, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it's called what? Back to Hip Hop.
Back to hip hop.
So they started off letting you know what kind of vibe this album is gonna be.
Yes.
And boy,
it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. We got Slick Rick.
You got Slick Rick. You got Phife Dawg. R.I.P. Phife Dawg.
R.I.P. to Phife. They got Phife, Alicia Shaheed Muhammad, and Pasta the Noose on the same song. On the same track. And it's dope.
It's very dope.
Oh my God, it's so good. One of my favorite joints is with the former lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls, Nicole Scherzinger. It's very difficult for me to say. Pardon me if I butchered your last name. But it's such a good song.
Yes, they have. Of course, they have a few tracks on there that have a nostalgic ring. So I'm not going to give up any. If you haven't heard it, I'm not going to give up anything.
Please experience it for yourself.
Like it'll take you back, but it takes you back, but it's still current. It's still current. It's dope. Yeah. Very dope album. Salute to Black Eyed Peas.
Salute to Black Eyed Peas. It's one of those albums that we don't skip.
Yeah, we don't skip. It's a great. I think it's a great workout album. I think the tempo.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Takes you in highs and kind of mellows out. Yeah. Energetic in places.
Uplifting.
Like make you get the stank face and all of that.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a good album if you have a long drive.
Yep, and sonically, it's amazing.
The engineering on it is
sonically it's
so
amazing.
crispy.
And this is their 7th studio album.
7th. Shouts out to Black Eyed Peas, man. Salute to you guys. We really appreciate this album. We can tell that they put a lot, they really thought about it substance-wise.
Yes.
And
yes, definitely.
Anybody who appreciates good music will definitely appreciate Masters Around the Sun Volume 1. Mm-hmm. All right.
Only we can expect a Volume 2. But let's move on.
Let's Volume 2, please. So, this is our sneak segment.
Yes.
We're discussing all aspects of sneaker culture, kicks, tennis shoes, wherever you're from geographically, depends on what word you use. And so this week, we are, as you can see, I have a pair of Fila's, and
I have the De La Soul Dunks, Nike De La Soul Dunks. One pair of my favorite sneakers. I get compliments all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm very jealous.
Yes.
You see my face? This is the face of a jealous woman.
And we actually visited. There was a pop-up hip hop museum yesterday in DC.
In DC, yes. And at Blind Wino in Southwest. Shouts out to those who curated that event. Mm-hmm. Sneakers.
Oh yeah. Well, going back to why I brought up the museum, was because these were on display.
Yes, they were.
Was that a native tongue display?
Yes, it was a native tongue display.
It wasn't just a De La Soul display. It was more of a native tongue. Had like Black Sheep and Tribe
so it was
in there
like
also.
A glass, kind of like a bigger than a poster, like a cabinet kind of display, and it had these Dunks, De La Soul Dunks. It had memorabilia from native tongues.
And these were a jewel how I got these. Like, I know this a sneakerhead who saw these in like a department store, and it was like $40 at the time, and I was like, "Yo, get me a pair."
And how much are they now?
I don't think you get a pair for a brand new pair for under $150.
Can you say steal?
Yes.
I didn't get a pair.
Like used.
I'm just saying. Where's my connect? Huh? Where's my connect? Anyway.
Back to the history of sneakers.
Let's talk about the history of sneakers, Mr. Historian.
The last episode we was talking about, the origin of where sneakers or tennis shoes came from.
The word, like, why do we call them tennis shoes?
Yes, and according to...
Well, why do y'all call them tennis shoes? I call them kicks.
The internet.
According to the internet.
It actually originated back in 1887. More famous in Boston, where young men were getting what they call tennis shoes. It was for tennis and croquet. And they named them sneakers actually because of the rubber sole, and they're quiet, opposed to hard bottom shoes, which was
blowing up your spot.
Everybody was wearing. I couldn't imagine how they was doing any kind of sport in some hard bottoms. And the genius that decided to put some rubber soles on it. Maybe we'll do a story on that another time.
We'll find out who that genius was. Thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah, the term sneaker actually comes from because they're quiet.
Being able to sneak.
Opposed to the hard bottom Buster Brown shoes.
Nobody probably wasn't good criminals before sneakers. I'm just saying.
Yes. So you want to elaborate on your Fila's here?
Yeah, well, so first of all, see, I'm jealous of the fact that these were $40 and I didn't get a pair. But I got these and the black, white, and red ones for $50 a piece. Stupid sale. And then you see, I'm sporting my matching Fila jacket.
Got the coordinate.
You cannot stop at the mushroom belt. See? Don't stop at the mushroom belt.
I ain't coordinating the sprints.
Purple rain goes with anything though. I'm just saying. So this is here we have a classic shoe. Okay? So when I saw these, they just felt extremely nostalgic to back when I was, elementary or middle school. And I never had a pair. And I just always thought that they looked really clean and fly and fresh, and it was always the older dudes in the neighborhood. You know, they were always fly. There were 2 dudes that lived in my building, and they were constantly changing clothes as if they were on a movie set. So when I saw these, I immediately I quantum leaped back into childhood. And I said, hey, younger Simone, go ahead and get those for yourself. And that's exactly what I did.
Well, these actually came out in 2005. When De La Soul hooked up with Nike, with SB Dunks. And this is not the only colorway. There's other colorways to them. I'm not exactly a big fan. I would like to have the other colorway just to have that sneaker, but I wasn't a fan of the other colorway. I'm more of a fan of these because it actually is like the colors that is on the album cover.
Right.
Yeah. Then they were reissued in 2015, and that was around the time that I had
got these. Yeah.
I purchased these. Yeah. So they got a little wear to them.
Man.
Yeah. But they're comfortable. I love them.
Yeah, these are comfortable as well. I was very shocked at how comfortable. Of course, obviously, I don't wear these that often because they're white, and I'm a child with anything white. But the black ones, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get another pair of those because they about to look like sadness.
Yeah.
But they're very comfortable. So we here at Beat Sneaks and Rhymes, we like to wear shoes that are comfortable because we're old.
Yeah, these is classic. I love these.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the
things they actually make them a little bit more firmer than they did back in the day.
Yeah, because they used to be super soft back then.
They used to be super soft.
Super soft. And the other thing that I love about this sneaker is the fact that the sole is blue. I mean, I love sneakers, whatever, you know what I mean? But when you have a sole that isn't white and it still manages to look dope, sold.
Moving on to
our segment called the Dwayne,
Roger,
and Rerun segment, because we're going to tell you
what's happening. No Roger, no rerun, no rent.
No Roger, no rerun, no rent. I know y'all remember that. Oh my goodness. Classic. Just
Roger.
These are classic tales from our childhood. So a video from March 4th, if I'm not mistaken, resurfaced of a woman, a 26-year-old woman in Florida, who was put in a headlock by a police officer, a Florida police officer, South Florida, excuse me. And she called 911 for assistance because her trash-ass neighbor pulled a shotgun on her and her friend and called them whores and said that he was going to shoot her burnt black ass face off her neck. Obviously, and she's a mother. She has a child. Her child was sick at the time. Obviously, she was terrified for her life. And so when you are terrified for your life, or if you're in need of assistance as a public servant and a taxpayer, you are instructed to call the police, and they're supposed to come and to provide protection and clarity and safety. And so that's what she did. And when she called the police, you know, the initial police officers that showed up, obviously she was in complete distress, but they were handling the situation. And then another police officer, okay, he showed up as backup, and that's when everything went wrong.
Isn't that like the story, like 8 times out of 10, how it always happens?
8 times out of 10.
The backup shows up and bullcrap breaks out.
Yes.
Bullshit. I'm sorry.
Yes. And so what wound up happening, because of the video resurfacing, because see, when it happened, they probably wasn't going to do nothing to this police officer, whose name is Alejandro Giraldo. Okay, so this suspect officer wound up being placed on suspension, following obviously an internal investigation. But I feel comfortable in suggesting that they probably weren't going to do anything, and then because this video surfaced on the internet, this is probably why they moved promptly to put him under arrest.
Something, yes. To do something.
under suspension.
So what did he actually do to
to the woman. So they were, obviously she was upset. She was irate. And he said that she needed to be corrected. She was obviously visibly upset. She asked why does she have to be the one who has to be corrected? It was her life that was being threatened. Her daughter is sick. She said that she repeatedly tells the officer, the officer then takes a step towards her and he grabs her arm. But she's not resisting arrest. I want to be clear on that, right? In all of the reports, they're saying that it's clear from the video that she's not resisting arrest. He just places her in a headlock. He wrestles her to the ground. And then 3 officers pin her to the ground. And she's shouting, I just said I wanted to call my kid because her kid was sick. She was like, I got a gun pointed at me in front of me and my kid is sick. I'm stressed out. I need to go call my children. I need to call my kids. And she just kept repeating this over and over and over because she's clearly in distress. And so they put her in the car. They forcefully dragged her. They dragged her to her feet. And they dragged her to the car. They put her in the car and they put her under arrest and they arrested her for disorderly conduct.
So, because we all know this is nothing new.
No, it's not.
So, did anything happen to the lady that actually pulled? Did I miss that?
Oh, the person who pulled, it was a man who pulled.
Excuse me.
It was a man. It was a white man who pulled a shotgun.
She lives next door to Elmer Fudd.
Yes, he pulled a shotgun on her, and her friend. It doesn't appear that anything happened. Not from this report. It doesn't say that anything happened. I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit more research on that. But the story that's circulating right now is that the police officer who did this horrible thing to this woman, he's under suspension now. This is
totally believable. I won't get into a personal story of mine, but this is totally 100% believable because it happened to me.
Yes.
Here's an instance where instead of the cop being sensitive towards the victim's feelings and being aware that she's obviously upset because of something that happened to her, like, maybe her life flashed before her eyes. Maybe her child's life flashed before her eyes. So you have to take this in consideration of somebody being irate and being the victim totally, period, being the one that called for assistance. No matter how she's talking.
Yes.
No matter how she's talking, you work for her.
Because she's paying taxes.
And somebody is breaking the law.
Somebody clearly broke the law. If anything, if he would have sneezed wrong, she wouldn't have been able to call the police because her face would have been all over the street. Because he had a shotgun pointed at her.
A shotgun.
And so here's the funny thing. This police officer said that the lady needed a mental evaluation. She was taken to jail on charges of disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. They said that she was acting belligerent, would not obey commands. She became further upset, very irate, uncooperative, and began to scream at us, causing a scene. To me, that last sentence, she began to scream at us, causing a scene, to me is the most important here because this is probably the reason why they said we gotta calm this lady down, because they probably felt belittled during their them in action with their job, and she rightfully so had the right to be irate. This man could have blew her face off. Her children would have been without a mother because of this horrible, horrible, horrible neighbor that they clearly have done nothing about. Did this man go to jail? I don't know. I haven't seen anything about this guy. So that is what's happening in South Florida. Florida man. And
it's clearly
with a shotgun.
We're dealing with African American black woman and a Caucasian American man.
A Caucasian American man and a Caucasian adjacent police officer, because his name suggests that he's Hispanic.
Okay.
All right.
So you want to move on?
Let's move on.
You do?
Yes. But let us know how you feel about it. Make sure you subscribe And if you have any comments about this particular situation, let us know. Let's talk about it, please.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we're tired of talking about these incidences, but whatever. Let's keep talking about them. Alright guys, welcome back to Beat Sneaks and Rhymes. And we are now down to our final segment, which is the rhyme segment, where we find some bars and we discuss them, break them down, talk about what we like, etc. And this week, my choice is Kxng Crooked, aka or BKA, better known as or formerly known as Crooked Eye. And it's from his Hip Hop Weekly series of freestyles. This is week 9 with Jewel Emoji. I chose this because, man.
Why?
It's so good.
Okay.
I like for every week he uses the same producer by the name of Diz. And what Diz does is takes like a popular song and he like recreates the beat. And so for Jewel Emoji, he takes the Fugees' Killing Me Softly, well, the Fugees' version of Killing Me Softly, and he flips it. And Crooked Eye is just particularly masterful for me. Just for me, I love it. I listen to it all the time, and it just gets better and better and better. I mean, he starts off by saying, yo, it's almost 2020. Is your vision clear? Stop right there. I mean, stop right there. Then he says, I'm flipping homophones when you listen here. Come on.
You know how much that just flies over people's heads, though?
If you don't know what a homophone is.
I mean, the whole yo, it's almost 2020, is your vision clear is kind of like, straightforward. But it's flipping homophones when you listen here. Like. Yes.
And I was just like, so like the first 2 bars, it was like boop, boop, not like gut punches, but it was like immediately, if y'all are not awake, he goes right in. And I'm probably impartial to this because, I love Lauren.
Okay. I thought you were going to actually say it's because, he shouted out a lot of women at the end of it.
I definitely was going to get to that,
and I think it was in the reference it being to National Women's Month.
Yes.
So,
that was very clever. I definitely appreciated that. He shouted out, the OGs, Bra Digga, MC Light, of course, Lauryn Hill. Shouted out, some newbies,
a lot of
Jones.
women MCs.
Yes, and I loved it. I never had a prayer. I picture God on his gigantic chair, sending me lyrics to make the planet care. Holy Ghost writer, only Jehovah flow tighter. My flow is so cold, you zip your overcoat right up. Stop right there. Now, somebody might say, yo, that wasn't really like nothing clever, but the alliteration and how he just uses the same syllable, but he's not saying the same thing. And he's really good at that.
Yes. And you gotta listen. I mean, not just us giving you the bars, but you have to go back and you definitely have to listen to the song because, I think sometimes a play on words and the flow accompanying it makes it like a whole lot more genius than what it sounds like, when you read it. You wake up in the morning, tell yourself you're great, because your subconscious and conscious is in a separate state. You gotta fuse them together as you meditate. Put the needle to the vinyl and set the record straight. Then create the best shit that you can ever make.
Top floor mentality, time to elevate. Yes, I know these lyrics because I listen to this every day. Yes.
He said you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself great. Because your subconscious and your conscious is in a separate state.
Stop right there. Exactly. Like just that right there. And then he's like, you gotta fuse them together. You know what I mean? Just to meditate. And that's really what meditation is. Okay.
I'm Chris Parker. I spit for the Spit Sparkers.
Yes.
No getting at this author. My image is pitch dark, but I shine in my resume. It's thicker than Miss Parker. Still balling like Vince Carter.
Yeah, I really could just quote this whole goddamn verse
Right,
here.
I know.
You know,
not worried about shit starters. I master the mixed art of sparring with bars. Niggas, I hit harder.
Boop, boop. That's the ad-lib. I'm sorry. I got a message for the young guns. Nothing's more valuable than your loved ones. Don't let your soul escape when the funds come. Just let the kick and the snare solve your conundrums. It's cool to kick it with squares. Fuck all the dum-dums. Cause death in the hood is where we run from. I got a couple of jewels if you want some. I'm someone adding value to the someone. Salute to Kxng Crooked, man. I salute you, man.
Yeah.
This really it sits with me.
And what I like about it, you know, I talked to a few people because not many people remember when he was doing this. Like,
see, I didn't know.
It was like,
so this is new. So
like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Like, but you know, that was kind of, I'm not gonna say his reemergence, but because he still was on, you know, he had a little buzz, but yeah.
I think he, you know, I think from what I was reading, like in the comments and stuff, people who knew about the weeklies back then, they were like, you know, when he started doing this, it seemed like he was trying to not rebrand himself, but basically let people know, like, I rap.
I still, yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, and it ain't nobody messing with me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so he did that for 52 weeks. He did that for the whole year. So, and he's planning on doing it again. And so if you guys, you know, have any thoughts about Kxng Crooked and the weekly series, let us know what your favorite weekly verse is thus far of 2019. Make sure you hit the subscription box down below. Yeah. Hit us in the comments section.
He's up to week, 10 now?
He's up to week 10. He released week 10. I think it's called Bishop. That's,
yes.
I mean, come on, okay? But yeah, shouts out to Kxng Crooked, man. Thank you for constantly making dope music. We appreciate it. All right, and so that concludes this week's episode of Beats,
Sneaks,
and Rhymes. I'm Simone Arabia.
I'm Fever.
We are Spotless Minds, and we will see you next week.
All the time.
Peace.